All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome in. So, look, everybody knows what happened, what transpired yesterday with strong safety for the New York Jets, Jamal Adams, and the Jets front office, specifically Joe Douglas. If you guys don't know, Jamal Adams made it public. He officially doesn't want to be a member of the New York Jets anymore. He put in his trade request, also giving a list of teams that, a list of preferences of teams that he wants to be dealt to. Kind of ironic, but every team that he wanted to go to was a playoff team or borderline playoff team, like the Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens, teams like that, which I thought was pretty interesting, but I digress. The point is, fans are going to be angry. They're going to be upset. Some fans are going to be happy about it, but we can't revel in those emotions. We have to move forward. We have to adapt at some point. So I came up with 5 trade scenarios, 5 realistic trade scenarios that I kind of wanted to talk about. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into this thing. The first scenario, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns. And I got to be honest with you, this is probably my favorite trade off of the entire list because I really feel like it works out well for both teams involved. So the Cleveland Browns would get Jamal Adams, of course, and a 2021 fourth round pick in exchange for a 2021 first round pick, a 6th round pick, and cornerback Denzel Ward. Now, I know first gut reaction when you hear the name Denzel Ward, you're thinking, oh my God, really good rookie season, but completely fell off his sophomore year. Well, just pump the brakes on that for just a second and hear me out. Denzel Ward is still a super young player with a tremendously high upside, a lot of physical traits, dominated, right? Remember, Pro Bowl player, Pro Bowl cornerback under Greg Williams, his rookie season. Obviously, you guys know Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets, and he's coming in at a major position of need. Yes, we addressed the cornerback position, getting guys like Quincy Wilson, Bryce Hall, Pierre Desir, bringing back Brian Poole. But when you look at Denzel Ward's upside, when you look at what he's done through his NFL career so far, I mean, he's pretty much a day one starter with this Jets unit. So I'm looking at it like, okay, Jamal doesn't want to be here. We don't have to pay him and sign him to this mega deal that he wants. I think came out today, by the way. Quick little tangent side note. He wants like $20 million a year, and that's complete insane. That's way too much money. But I'm looking at Denzel Ward plus a first round pick, plus a 6th round pick. Yes, we would have to give up Adams and a 4th, but I think when it's all said and done, it's great compensation for both teams. When you look at Cleveland's kind of state of affairs, that's a team that needs a strong safety, right? Everybody knows they had Jabril Peppers, former first round pick, but they dealt him to the Giants. They went ahead and they drafted Del Pitt out of LSU, but is he ready to play? And bottom line, Jamal Adams is the best strong safety in the National Football League. So obviously he's going to come in and be a much better option than a rookie. So that's the first trade scenario. Moving on, trade scenario number 2 involves the Detroit Lions. Quick shout out to my buddies Kyle and Tyler. Only Detroit Lions fans I know, but they are the biggest Detroit Lions fans. So I hope they like this one. But anyway, the Lions go ahead and they get Jamal Adams straight up, no picks involved, just JA. And the Jets get Kenny Golladay, wide receiver, and a 2021 second round pick. Now, I know a lot of Jets fans out there really want the first round pick, but remember, not all first round picks are created equally. A first round pick from the Saints is going to be a lot different from the Jaguars, or the Cardinals, right? It varies. You could get pick 32, you could get the second pick. You never really know. But I'm looking at this as a situation where the New York Jets can capitalize big time on a major weakness at the wide receiver position. We did bring in guys, right? We brought in Brashad Perryman. We brought in Denzel Mims. That's great. I love those 2 picks, or those 2 acquisitions, I should say. But at the end of the day, the wide receiving unit is still a weak spot. It's still a crippling point for this offense. We need to make sure Sam Darnold going into year 2 of the Gase system has enough weapons, has an opportunity to have success to the absolute maximum, right? So if we get Kenny Golladay in the building, again, I don't mean for this to be a side note, but it happens to be one. Kenny Golladay, Kenny G is my favorite player in the league. He's so underrated. He possesses a ton of huge catch radius, huge vertical, wins at 50-50 balls. The guy is so underrated. Nobody talks about him at all. Also a really good fantasy player. But any case, if the Jets can land Kenny Golladay for Jamal Adams, plus we get a second-round pick in return, I think that would be huge. And from the Lions' point of view, the Lions have needed a safety, and the Lions needed a safety a couple years ago. They had Quandre Diggs. They dealt him to Seattle, and every Lions fan that I remember when the trade went down, I was on Twitter and whatnot, Instagram, really kind of scouring the internet. Every single Lions fan was pissed. They're like, Diggs is underrated. Diggs is a really good player. They didn't feel the compensation was fair in return, what they got from Seattle. So now you're looking at Detroit, where they had an opportunity to, draft a guy like Dale Pitt, to draft a guy like Xavier McKinney or Antoine Winfield. They didn't do it, right? They did not do it. So I'm still looking at that strong safety position as a major opening. Jamal Adams comes in. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, they both wanted an enforcer on the defensive side of the football. They want to be that imposing presence. They signed Trey Flowers a couple years ago to the big money deal. Now they get a guy in the back end after drafting Jeff Okudah and signing Desmond Trufant on the other side, of course. I'm looking at the Detroit Lions defense. That's a formidable bunch, right? That's a really, really solid defense. So I can see that as a possible scenario. Also, to kind of further make that point, the Lions have a plethora of wide receivers. Yes, they will miss Kenny G, but I feel like the pro to con or the positive to negative the pros outweigh the cons as far as losing Kenny Golladay and then acquiring Jamal Adams, right? A star safety. And by the way, you already know the Patriots system, the Belichick, the Matt Patricia defense, it relies heavily on the DBs, right? Secondary members, extremely, extremely important. So moving on, trade scenario number 3, and this one is a little far-fetched, but I wanted to have some fun with it. Involves the Tennessee Titans, right? The Tennessee Titans will acquire Jamal Adams and a 2021 6th-round pick, okay, in exchange for a first-round pick next year and Harold Landry, right? Outside linebacker, edge rusher, whatever you want to call him. Really young player, a lot of speed, a lot of bursts on the outside. Thinner frame, but this is a dude who I fell in love with him at Boston College, right? A ton of potential, a ton of upside. Again, coming off a 9-sack season, I think that the Jets might want to get their hands on an edge rusher here, because I'm looking at the edge rusher group for this Jets defense. I don't want to say it's non-existent, but it's near it, right? It's near non-existent. So if the Jets could get a guy in the building, sub 24 years old, who already, and by the way, 9 sacks is not a lot of sacks, but when you go down the list of, Jets the sack history for this Jets team, it's laughable. It's so bad. You have to go back to, I think, 2015 to look at Muhammad Wilkerson, where he put up double-digit sacks. It is bad. So to get a guy with, a ton of potential, a ton of upside, give him to a Greg Williams, a guy who has shown in the past where he can get a lot out of his defensive players, I'm looking at that as a possible trade. Also a first-round pick, you gotta love that, but keep in mind it'll be a later first-round pick because the Tennessee Titans are a really, really formidable team. And then from the Titans' point of view, everybody, again, Mike Vrabel wanted that enforcer on the Titans defense. And yes, they do have Kevin Byard, but remember, they're 2 separate positions. I don't know why everybody likes to lump the free safety position and the strong safety position together. They're 2 different things. Byard is an absolute stud, free safety, but now you add Jamal Adams to that team, they instantly have the best safety tandem in the entire NFL. Instantly. Adams becomes the best player on a defense that's already a top-tier defense. You gotta love that. Plus, they're going to be getting a 6th-round pick to, for next year's draft as well. So, but again, a little far-fetched. I don't really know if the Titans want to give up Harold Landry, that quickly. But moving on, option 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, this is a little cliche, but the Buccaneers will receive Jamal Adams to pair him back up with Todd Bowles, Casey Rogers, and whatnot. Again, a team that needs a strong safety. I do like how the Bucs are kind of building at the cornerback room, but I'm not so sure about the safeties, right? Free safety specifically, but when you look at the strong safety position, yes, they did draft Winfield Jr. out of Minnesota, a guy who I loved. But at the end of the day, like we alluded to, Jamal Adams is the best strong safety in the league. You put Jamal Adams on the Chicago Bears, you put him on the Redskins, right? Replacing guys like Landon Collins and Eddie Jackson. they're going to be Adams is going to be an upgrade. Okay, so everybody knows Jamal is no joke, right? So the Bucs get Adams, the Jets get Chris Godwin and a 2021 first-round pick. Chris Godwin is becoming a little expendable because you look at Tom Brady's track record of throwing to, wide receivers, especially, late in his 40s and whatnot. It's more so of a slot kind of wide receiver game, hit the tight ends, little like check downs, little passes out into the flat. You already have Mike Evans on the outside, really, guy's a stud, top 5 wide receiver in the league. Are they really going to maximize Chris Godwin's potential? He's a great player, right? He's going to help out the Bucs offense this year. But I look at how Tom Brady plays the game of football. I look at the Buccaneers roster already. The defense was the main issue last year. Of course, that and the turnovers. You're hoping that the turnovers get fixed because of Thomas Brady. But on the defensive side of the football, yes, they made some, got some guys in the building, but no player that they got is at Jamal Adams' tier, right? Nobody. So if you can align Jamal Adams with Todd Bowles, a guy who I know is going to, pick up the phone and call Bruce Arians and bug him, about trying to get Adams in the building, I could see this going down. So, from the Jets' point of view, Chris Godwin comes in at a major position of need, wide receiver, and a first-round pick. Again, keep in mind, it's probably going to be a later first-round pick, so maybe somewhere in the 20s if the Bucs do, in fact, make the playoffs. And the fifth and final scenario that I have for you guys involves the Eagles, right? The Philadelphia Eagles. So let's break it down. The Eagles received Jamal Adams straight up, no picks involved. And the New York Jets received a 2021 first-round pick, a 2022 third-round pick, and then edge rusher Derek Barnett. Okay, now hear me out. Derek Barnett, you're going to be like, what the hell, dude? Derek Barnett, he's nowhere near Jamal Adams. They don't have nowhere near production, right? They're not the same player, obviously. But when you look at Barnett's potential coming in at that edge rusher / outside linebacker role where he's a versatile guy, possesses a ton of speed. You go and you talk to Eagles fans will tell you when this guy plays, because he does have an injury kind of riddled career so far, when he plays and when he is healthy, he can be an absolute stud. This guy can be a star. It's all about keeping him healthy and whatnot, keeping him kind of in the rotation, keeping giving him a lot of action and whatnot. But when you look at Barnett as an overall prospect, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love his speed, his power, his burst off the edge. I really like Derek Barnett a lot. Also, keep in mind Joe Douglas was with the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, from 2016 through 2019. Derek Barnett was I think it was the 12th or the 14th pick. By Philly back in 2017. So Joe Douglas, when he was with the Eagles, had a huge say in drafting a Derek Barnett. And by the way, Barnett, absolute killer edge rusher at Tennessee. I think Derek Barnett is actually the best statistical edge rusher to ever play at Tennessee. He broke a major record back in the day. But so the Eagles would get a massive boost because everybody knows the Philadelphia Eagles, they desperately need safety help, really secondary help, because Sidney Jones hasn't really worked out and whatnot. I know Rasul Douglas is, that whole situation's kind of up in the air. But Jamal Adams in that division, a division that's wide open. The Redskins, the Giants, Dallas, it's looking like it's going to be a two-horse race between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. So Jamal Adams would instantly give the Eagles a huge boost on defense. And I know the Dallas Cowboys have been rumored to be involved with Jamal Adams. Like, Adams wants to go to Dallas. Dallas kind of wants Jamal. So if the Eagles can just swoop in and just snag Adams like that, take him essentially away from a rival team, and only give away, a couple picks, one this, next season, and then the following year, and then an edge rusher that, has been kind of up and down. I think Philadelphia would do that. I really do. So yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Cannot wait to hear them because this is such an interesting topic. And thanks so much for watching. And as always,